So Heather McDonald is now jumping into the fight. She's responding. She just released an emergency Patreon episode. I subscribed. I listened. I took notes. Let's discuss. Oh, hi, it's me, Zack Peter, pop culture junkie, reality TV insider, published author, and host of the No Filter with Zack Peter podcast. Here I'll bring you all the latest news on the Real Housewives, deep dives into celebrity legal scandals, and unfiltered combos with your favorite stars. I've got you covered. And yes, I always keep receipts. So be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for all the latest tea. Now, let's dive in. All right, I hope you guys are ready to dive into it all. Heather McDonald has released an emergency podcast episode. I subscribed, I listened, let's discuss, because it's all about Jeff Lewis. Oh, hi, Sky. You want to say hi, buddy? Okay. Okay, so Sky just wanted to say hi because he's so excited with all the drama. But anyway, it was like a little over 12 minutes. It was a emergency Patreon episode where I thought it was going to address Justin Martindale, but she doesn't. She's only addressed Jeff Lewis and everything that he said on his radio show. And she's like, look, he's my friend of 25 years. And so she was like, I never thought that he would talk about this phone call between us because it was a private phone call and we're friends and we've been friends for a really long time. So she's kind of upset with Jeff Lewis. Really quickly, before I dive into what she said, I want to recap what else has happened since obviously last night I went live with Jacques Peterson, who's the host of the Unpopular podcast, who's a really good friend of mine. And I want to say, because, we got lots of feedback from last night's live stream. I love Jacques. I adore Jacques. He's my good friend. I stand by, whatever. I have a platform and I have a responsibility, and I used that platform. I shared that platform with him, and whatever he came on my show to share, I stand by and I support as my friend. Now, when it comes to so that's that. But when it comes to Heather and Justin, my history with Heather and Justin. So I had never known Justin. I'd never heard of Justin. I didn't really, other than seeing him on like TikTok videos from his appearances on Juicy Scoop, I was not familiar with who he was. Just want to say that. Then I obviously saw him appear on Juicy Scoop, and now there's this whole scandal. So now we're talking about it. I thought that in last night's live stream, I covered it very objectively. I tried to stay very open-minded about the whole thing. He apparently was not happy about that because he went on to some comments on Facebook. People sent me some screenshots. I've gotten phone calls, I've gotten text messages, I've gotten screenshots and DMs from a lot of people. I did not want to get into this mess. I mean, obviously, I'm going to talk about it because it's what we're all talking about. I was not planning on being enthralled in this mess, and now I feel like I'm kind of being soaked in based off of my association to people that are involved in all of this. But apparently, from what I've seen, Justin is not happy with me or not happy with Jacques and I based off of last night's live stream. I, again, try to come at it very objectively. I gave Justin kudos. I gave Heather kudos. I gave Justin criticism. I gave Heather criticism based off of my analysis of the situation overall. I did not think I was going to I mean, I guess I knew that there was a chance that one of them might be upset, but I didn't think that this beef was that big or that deep. And I wanted to have Jacques on the podcast because I know he is a big Heather supporter, and not many people are supporting Heather right now. Everybody's talking about Justin's side of the story. So we'll get into what Heather has said in response to all of this. But I do want to say, like, my history with Justice, I had no idea who he was. I'm not trying to shade him. I'm just being honest. I only knew of him through Juicy Scoop. I did not think that I gave him an unfair judgment in last night's live stream. So the fact that he seems to be upset with me and is making shady comments about me, okay. My relationship with Heather, I've known Heather for many years. I obviously used to watch her on Chelsea Lately. Then I used to work with Jenny McCarthy. I used to work at her foundation. Heather did some fundraisers for the foundation, comedy fundraisers. So I don't think Heather remembers me from those days. But again, I was like just some chubby kid with dark hair. Like, I wasn't a podcaster. I wasn't a name that anybody knew. I didn't have a platform. I didn't have social media. Like, I don't think that, listen, you meet a ton of people at these events that, like, I'd never expected her to really remember me. Now I do know that, she's been on my podcast before. I've always been very supportive of her. I have heard negative things, or I guess I should say there have been people that have come to me that have shared negative things that Heather has said about me, people that I do know and that I do trust. So I was a little surprised to hear that there were negative things that Heather has said about me because I've always been very nice and supportive to her. Anytime that I've approached her about that, she's always said that it wasn't true. And I've just taken her word at face value. So you know, we also were very recently talking about doing a podcast crossover. I was going to come on Juicy Scoop. She was going to come on back on No Filter because she's been on No Filter before. Had a lovely interaction with her when she was on No Filter before. We had a lovely conversation. She was so sweet. On Instagram, when I post milestones, personal milestones, she's liked them. She's congratulated me in the comments. So I never thought that I've had an issue with Heather. I don't think that I have an issue with Heather, but I also I don't have like a deep personal friendship with Heather either. I saw her at the Bourbon Room. Oh God, I'm getting text messages about this now. I'm telling you guys, I've been getting phone calls and text messages and DMs about this entire situation since last night's live stream. So my relationship with Heather has never been deep, but I've never had an issue with her and I've always been very supportive of her. So I was surprised to hear these negative things that had been said about me or just like subtle shade that had kind of been thrown my way that, her platform's bigger than mine, and I guess in her eyes, she kind of just sees me as small potatoes, which is fine. Listen, Heather will be Heather. But again, I've always been I can maintain that I've always been nothing but supportive and, kind and nice to Heather. So those are my histories with Heather and Justin. I was very recently talking to Heather about doing a podcast crossover. She seemed open to the idea. Then obviously the incident between me and Up and Adam happened on Sunday night at the Bourbon Room. And since then, obviously on Monday, she had Adam on her podcast. And when I tried to follow up with her about a podcast crossover, she didn't really seem open or receptive to that. However, to be fair, this Justin Martindale drama may have also been top of mind, that maybe her priority is not collaborating with me after all. But let's get into her Patreon because there's a lot in there and there's a part at the end that did make me think about it twice. But I also want to say that I want to clarify that last night I said that Jeff Lewis does not pay his guests, or not that he doesn't pay his guests, but I said that his guests get paid through Sirius XM and not out of his pocket personally. I have since been told that Jeff does pay his guests personally out of pocket. When I asked if he gets reimbursed by Sirius XM, that question was not answered. So regardless if he pays for them out of pocket, if he gets reimbursed, if SiriusXM is the one paying for them, that was not the point. The point is his guests do get paid to appear on Jeff Lewis Live. And I think that that is a great thing. And I think that, radio and podcasting are two very different worlds. But I do think that people getting compensated to appear on his show regularly, I think that that's a good thing. So whether he's personally paying them out of pocket and or getting reimbursed, I don't think that that matters. The fact that these people are getting paid is great. Okay, so let's talk about the Patreon because I've rambled enough, but I also wanted to make sure we got a good crowd in the room tonight. Have some damn integrity. Do not support the whores of gossip. I'm one of the whores of gossip. I am a whore of gossip. That is what I am. Put me in that category. Where does he talk about the Adam argument? Curious to hear that. Me or who? I talked about the Adam argument in my Monday episode, in my Wednesday episode, in my live stream with Jacques last night. It is what it is. Okay. So she opens the Patreon. It was 12 minutes. She opens it with talking about Jeff Lewis. He's been her friend for 25 years. She says that she's never talked about the phone call that she had with Jeff Lewis because it was private, but now that he's publicly spoken about it, now she feels like she needs to address it. She also says that she's tried to reach out to Jeff Lewis, but he appears to be ignoring her. She's texted him, she's called him, she tried to reach out to his assistant, she's gotten no response. She says that she has no exclusivity clause with any of her guests. Because that was one of the accusations that Justin Martindale made on his podcast, was that he wanted to come on Jeff Lewis Live. And then Jeff Lewis said, I have to talk to Heather because, Heather doesn't want you to be making appearances on my show. And so Justin was a little bothered by that. We'll get into that because Heather does give a little more context. Zack, now you know why millions don't support you either. Why, Lori? Why don't millions support me either? Well, listen, I don't care if millions support me. As long as I have people that genuinely support me, that's all that matters. I don't need millions to support me. And my love, you're in my live stream watching me right now, driving my ad revenue. So thank you. So Heather clarified that she does not have an exclusivity clause with any of her guests, Justin included. She clarified that a year ago, there was a phone call between she and Jeff. She said she called Jeff and she said that they had a conversation where she said that she wanted their shows to appear unique rather than swapping out the same guests all the time. I kind of get this point. I said this last night as a podcaster. I don't care who does what shows. If we're all, I mean, I know I have been in that place where if I see a guest going on, a PR circuit and trying to do all the different, you know, um, all the different podcasts at the same time, then I would kind of think, and I do this even like when housewives are like trying to promote a book or something. I'm like, maybe now is not the time that I want this particular reality star to come on my podcast because I don't think they're going to bring anything unique to the show because they're talking to every other podcast that like maybe I'll reach out to them in 2, 3, 4 months when they're not doing everybody else's show because then what value am I providing to my audience? What value are they giving out? Like it just then feels like a PR stunt, right? So, look, I'm literally getting so many text messages about Heather's Patreon and stuff, and people that don't even know I'm live right now. Zach, would you bring Justin on your show? Listen, I would be open to that. I was open to that, but I mean, if he's shading me on, if he's shading me like on the internet, like I don't know Justin. And I thought I've been very objective about this. I haven't heard from Heather. I haven't heard about anything that Heather has said. I don't know if Heather even knows that we've discussed it. I have seen screenshots of what Justin has said, which to me was a little strange, considering I don't think I was mean to Justin in any of this. But she continues by saying that in the phone call that she had with Jeff, that they were both in agreement. Jeff had agreed not to have Justin on because he understood her point of like, you have certain people that do your show regularly. I have certain people that do my show regularly. And like, let's make sure our shows are unique and creative in that way. That way they can, not feel like it's just this big overlap where we're just continuing to share the same regular guests. I get that point, right? I operate through a very different lens. I don't think about that stuff. I think about who do I want to talk to in this moment, who's relevant in this moment, who has unique opinions that I like, that I want to bring on my show to discuss topics, right? I operate from a very different lens. I'm giving my opinion as a creator, as a content creator and as a podcaster in this space as well. I operate differently, but that's not to say I operate better or, you know, I don't know if he's shading you. He is shading me, David. I've seen comments, I've seen screenshots of what he has said. For sure didn't shade you. He's very sweet. Guys, I've seen the screenshots of what he has said in comments. He absolutely shaded and it is what it is. She says that her and Jeff did also have a conversation at the Polo Lounge, and he asked her about having Justin on Jeff Lewis Live, and she told him, go for it. Because I guess at that time, so this is months after the conversation that they had on the phone. Jeff says that the phone call did happen. She says, I never addressed the phone call because I thought it was private. That's where they both agreed, like, yeah, let's not swap too many guests or have too many crossover guests. That way, it does feel unique. Okay. Then at some point, they do have lunch at the Polo Lounge. She said this is where it was brought up again, and Jeff Lewis asked about having Justin on Jeff Lewis Live, and she's like, you know what, go for it. Heather said that Justin decided to take a break from Juicy Scoop at the time, and that she didn't really see that he was going to be coming back in the capacity that he had been on in the past moving forward. She didn't think that he would be back to that place, right? She was like, he told me that he needed a break, and I was willing to respect that he needed a break, and it kind of sounded like at this point, maybe I'll have other people that come on the show regularly. So if he wants to do Jeff Lewis, like it's fine. And she told Jeff, go for it. Right. Then she says that she told Jeff that, and it seemed like the conversation was fine. She then addresses liking the negative comments because that was another accusation that Justin made against her, was that there were negative comments about him that she was liking or responding to, and people were screenshotting that and sending it to him. So she claims that she wasn't intentionally liking negative comments. She says that sometimes she just likes to like comments because she appreciates when people engage with her content. She says that she wasn't reading the full messages, that her liking the comments was more of just like an acknowledgement of you interacting with her content. Again, as a content creator, and that's where I'm coming at it from my lens as a content creator myself, there are times where sometimes I like comments that I don't fully read the whole paragraph, but it starts off nice. Maybe they say something, but there also have been times, and I'll be clear about this, where there have been comments that were made that at first I was like, oh, that's so sweet. I like this comment. And then I read beyond, I read a few sentences more, and somebody is shaded or something negative is said about somebody else. And I will unlike that comment because I'll be like, oh, no, I can't endorse that. Like, I wanted to endorse what you said at the beginning of this paragraph, but the shade that you threw towards somebody at the end of this paragraph, I'm going to unlike that comment because I don't want to co-sign that. So I do have that level of awareness. I think as content creators, there is a level of awareness that we can have. We should not, I think there's a responsibility to not like a comment if we haven't read the full paragraph, but I do understand how that can happen. So giving benefit of the doubt as somebody that understands it, I can get how that can happen, and how it may be unintentional, right? So she talks about that. She said that sometimes she would just like them without reading them, that she really just wanted to acknowledge and thank the people for writing a nice long negative comment in general. But she said that Justin did bring it up to her. And when he did bring it up to her, she apologized for that. And she, didn't. She also said that he never expressed to her the level of vitriol that he was receiving in the comments. She said that she never knew that he was receiving death threats, that she just thought they were troll comments, and that's why she was saying, hey, um, don't pay attention to that. Don't listen to that. Those are just trolls being trolls. Like, it's not that big of a deal. She didn't realize, according to her, she did not realize the level of hatred that he was receiving, that he just kind of made it seem like trolls were trolling him without letting her know that he was receiving death threats. She said the first time she ever heard about death threats was when he made that public on his podcast. He also told her that Justin told her that he needed to take a break from Juicy Scoop, and that she told him, go for it. Take a break. You can come back anytime. I understand if the comments are too much for you, the heat is too much for you, whatever. She said that she gave him an opportunity to back out of the live show that he was supposed to do. She's like, I get it. If you need a break, take a break. We'll put you on pause. And when you're ready to come back, the chair is always available to you. After Heather told Jeff that he could have Justin on Watch What Happens Live, Heather says that Jeff then decided he did not want to have Justin on on Jeff Lewis Live. She says that he decided that Justin was maybe a bit too much drama, and that it wasn't worth having Justin on Jeff Lewis Live. So she claims that the reason Justin never appeared on Watch What Happens Live was never because she tried to block him, but it was because Jeff made the conscious decision to not have him on, because eventually Heather did allow Justin to go on the show. Not that that was ever her place to allow or not allow that, but she was like, listen, if you want him on her show, I'm not going to be bothered by that. And then Heather says that she thought that she and Justin were fine until she realized that he was upset about stuff and that did this podcast episode. She also says that she now realizes that these people, I'm assuming referring to Jeff and Justin, she realizes that these people were never her friends, and that she says that she feels used and betrayed, and she feels like now they're just using her for content. And she does get a little shady towards the end because she says that she's like, I don't know what Justin's problem is. Maybe it's the fact that after 3 years of working with me, that maybe he didn't get the career or the exposure that he thought that he would get from it. Maybe he's not in the place that he thought he would be after working with me for 3 years, and maybe there's some resentment there. A little shady unintentionally, but I get it. It's a little salty considering the circumstances, and it does sting, right? He's trying to make her out to be a transphobe. He's trying to say she's a bad friend. She's trying to, he made a lot of big accusations against her that I understand that she is valid in being a little salty. Is now the time to be a little salty publicly? I don't know. But she said that if anything, but that she has been depressed, but if anything, she's been here before. She'll be just fine. She's going to shake up her content. She says she has a lot more creative people that she plans to bring on her show. She says that she's grateful to be #1 on the charts this week, and she plans to keep on building Juicy Scoop. It did feel a little Bethany Frankel at the end, where she's like, I'm #1 and my podcasts are #1 and I'm doing amazing and I'm doing good. And I'm like, all right, Heather, we get it. But also, you're successful, speak on it, preach, live in your moment. Again, as a creative in this space that has left an open invitation, has had her on my podcast, and asked her to do a crossover. We'll see if she invites me to be on Juicy Scoop. I've been nothing but supportive of her. I hope that my beef with Up and Adam does not affect that because I've never allowed any beef that I've had with anybody else to affect my relationship with anybody else. Actually, there is only one content creator that I do feel badly about. I don't think I want to say his name, but there is one creator that I did have a tainted opinion of based off of what my friend, who is also a content creator, was telling me about him. That I now regret allowing that to cloud my judgment because I feel like you should always let people show you who they are and judge them based off of that. Okay, let's see what you guys are saying. It sounded like Jeff Lewis was just stirring the pot and as a result really blew this whole thing up, which sucks for Justin. I mean, okay, so I think that Heather is telling the truth. I think that at first she was like, "No, I don't think it's fair to have him on your podcast or on your radio show because he's always on my podcast." And like, I just kind of want exclusivity to him. I get that. Do I agree with it? No, but I understand it. And it is very common in this world. I do think Jeff sharing that with Justin, I don't think he meant to share it in a shady, I don't think he was intentionally trying to be messy, but I think he was kind of just like, listen, Heather and I have talked and we've agreed that you can't come on my show. Or maybe he didn't give that full context, but I think he shared it in a way that maybe took a little accountability off his back and put all the heat on Heather so that he could not have to deny Justin being on his show and looking like the asshole for not having Justin on his show. Okay. She has been here before. Why is that? Perhaps she should look at that. Well, I believe the last time she was here before was with Chelsea Handler when Chelsea Handler said that Heather was selling stories about her, blah, 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 which Heather has denied. Was she selling stories about Chelsea Handler? I don't know. Chelsea says that she is, and Chelsea feels confident in that. Heather says that she was not, and Heather seems to be confident in that as well. Again, my experience is I do know there have been people that have come to me and shared negative things that have been said about me from Heather, either publicly or privately. Um, that did kind of rub me the wrong way, but we did talk about it. She did tell me that she never did that. I chose and am choosing to believe her at face value and be like, okay, I will believe you. So there's that. I disagree with Heather. Justin's podcast is really coming up. He understands the TikTok algorithm. Yeah, but if he understands the TikTok algorithm, then that doesn't necessarily mean that he doesn't know what he's doing. It's emergency because it's the emergency behind the paywall that really shows who she is, just publicly, not behind your paywall. Explain yourself. Jason Martindale does an explanation. Yes, and I agree with that. I expressed that last night. I've expressed that consistently. I don't love that we do these things behind a paywall and behind the highest tier of your paywall. I don't operate in that way. I always share things on the public free podcast. I don't think that there's a reason to make people pay for exclusive content. But I understand everybody has a job and everybody has a living to make. Just because I operate very differently doesn't mean that my way is right or wrong. It just means that's not how I choose to do things. And I don't think I never have put something exclusive behind a paywall like that. Is this live right now? Greetings from Ireland. Hi, Ireland. This is live right now. So hello. Oh, Donna's in the house. Daily dose of Donna. I'm curious what Donna has to say. Hi Zach. Hi friends. Here we are on a Saturday. Yeah, here we are. I've been doing so many random impromptu lives this week. But listen, we're doing it all. I literally don't know any of this drama. I need to research what is the short snippet. Listen to last night's live stream with me and Jacques Peterson. You'll get the full recap of everything. She doesn't like comments regularly. Okay. This has been a pattern since high school, or this has been happening since high school. It is a pattern. I don't know that to be true. I didn't know Heather in high school, so I can't comment on that. Never heard Heather say anything about Zack. I actually wrote her the other day. She says that most juice on the free platform. Okay, and that's fair, Anaconda. Again, the things that I've heard from multiple people. But I've taken her word at face value. I've always been very nice to her. I can't keep saying the same thing over and over and over. But yeah. I'm scared to share my honest opinion getting killed in the comments. Listen, I get killed in the comments every day. I don't really care. Um, it is what it is. Own it, baby, own it. I get where you're coming from. However, when the Megan thing happened, Heather's own son asked why she keeps ending up in these situations. I feel like they both have their own versions of the events. Yes, and I will say this. Listen, it's hard because we're in a weird world, right? We're in this creator world where sometimes people take things out of context, and it happens all the time, right? People screenshot things and they send them to us and they try to create beef and they try to make things bigger than they actually are. And I think that's unfair. And I said this the other day when somebody, came to me and they're like, I said something negative to Up and Adam because I support you. And I was like, one, we're not doing that. We're not lowering ourselves to a low vibration where we're going to send negativity to somebody else actively. We're not going to do that. I don't want to do that. I don't want any of my audience, anybody that supports me. If you love me and you support me and you like my content, then you will respect that I don't want to send negativity to anybody else. But her getting caught up in the cycle, it's hard to not get caught up in the cycle sometimes, though, and I can say that very honestly. I think that people like to insert themselves into the drama. They like to exacerbate things. They like to take clips out of context or find screenshots of something and make it more salacious than it actually is. And sometimes it's not that deep. And it's hard because we do have people that like to meddle and play with fire and, fuck with our friendships and fuck with our lives sometimes. And that's not always the place that we wanna come from, but it's like perfect example, right? Jacques and I did a podcast last year, maybe, and there was a thing where I made a comment, a very flippant comment that I didn't think very deeply about, and I said, "Listen, there are some people that are out there that can pander to the audience, and they can go out there and collect their little iHeartRadio deals. That's not me." Right? And then, obviously, I said that as a very flippant comment, but then many people took that comment and ran to Ryan Bailey, and they're like, "Ryan, you have an iHeartRadio deal. Zach shaded you, and this is the shit that he's talking about you." And then Ryan came to me and he's like, "Are you talking shit about me? Like, what are you saying? I thought we were cool." And I was like, "We are cool. I was absolutely not talking shit about you." I made a flippant comment. The first thing that came to mind was iHeartRadio. I never said I thought Ryan Bailey pandered to the audience and that's how he got his deal with iHeartRadio. I love Ryan Bailey on a personal level. We've worked together many times. He's been on this podcast. I've been on his podcast. He was in one of my live shows last year. That I would never intentionally shade him in that way, but that's an example of how people pick things apart because they like to create drama. That live stream was I mean, listen, it was a great live stream. And Jacques even told me, he's like, "I'm surprised that so many people didn't drag me." And I was like, "Yeah, because my audience is not a bunch of ding dong, cotton-headed ninny mungans." It's a he said, she said situation. I agree. He said something, she said something, he felt a way, she felt a way. He read the situation one way, she read the situation another way. That's why, again, I've tried to come at this very objectively and be like, listen, I think they both have flaws. I think there are moments where they both fucked up. And I think there are moments where they're both overreaching or overreacting or whatever the case may be. You know, my gut is to believe Justin Martindale, and that's great. Listen, if he resonates with you and you want to believe him, great. If Heather resonates with you and you want to believe her, great. I mostly believe Justin, and that listen, and that's literally great. I'm not saying you have to pick a side. I have not picked a side because I have no skin in this game. I'm not friends with either of these people. I've known Heather longer and I have more of a history with Heather, but I wouldn't consider her a good friend. We've never gotten to that place. We've been cordial content collaborators. We do have many mutual friends in common, but nobody has to make it that deep. I think what Jacques was saying was getting conveyed to Justin as you and Jacques were saying those things. And at least that's what I was seeing in the Jeff Lewis live Facebook groups. Maybe, maybe. I've never had an issue with Justin. I've never spoken to Justin. I literally don't have any history with Justin. So I was honest about what him being on my radar was. If he's unhappy with that, sorry. You took great steps to be objective and measured on your podcast with Jock. I think they need to grow up a bit. I mean, listen, but when you're caught up in it, like it's easy to get caught up in the drama, right? We all talk about the drama of housewives and reality stars and celebrities. Like this is the world we live in, and it thrives off of drama. So sometimes we get caught up in the drama. So is Justin going to perform with Heather and Chris in Sacramento and San Francisco as planned? Probably not. It looks like Heather is really done with Justin. I think there's a bit of truth to both sides and a bit of lies. The paywall is very off-putting. I agree with everything in this comment, Donna. I believe there's truth to both sides, and I believe not lies. I don't think that there are lies, but I do think that there's maybe either exaggeration or downplaying. Like we're not giving the full story because maybe the full story or the full context doesn't fully align with us, right? I think at this point, like if they care about the friendship, if they care about their relationship, then they can both maybe eat a little bit of crow pie and be like, listen, I am sorry that it got to this point. I will take ownership and accountability for my part in things. And if they care about moving forward, then I think now is the time to just move forward. Right. I support you. Also think you've been more cordial. The more cordial one in this thing. What happened in Vegas was a hell no, but I would never send Adam hate. It didn't happen in Vegas. It happened when I got back from Vegas. It was in LA at the Bourbon Room, which is in Hollywood. I love the Bourbon Room. I've done 2 shows at the Bourbon Room. Um, yeah, I didn't love how that went down. But yeah. I didn't realize how juicy this was. I need to catch up and now have a podcast to listen to. Listen, it's a lot. Get it, girl. Get it, get it, girl. I just started watching your podcast and I love the way that you conduct yourself. Listen, I'm not always perfect. I have messy moments. I will preface it with that. Anybody that's new here, just know that I have my messy moments, my late night, you know, tipsy Instagram lives. We got the wine handy. But at least I show you who I am. Good, bad, and in between. I always show you who I am. I put my shit out there. My messy moments, my great moments, my accomplishments, my failures. My love and support, and also my shade. I put it all out there. The paywall thing keeps coming up. There's a true crime YouTuber who got in trouble for posting paid content. I don't love the paywall thing. And listen, I operate from a very different way. I operate in a very different way. I don't like to put things behind a paywall because I'm just like, I just appreciate that anybody shows up to support me. So for me, it's like, I don't want to charge you X number of dollars to give you exclusive tea. If you come to me, then I just want to give you the tea and I can make money off of ad revenue. I don't need to make a subscription fee. But maybe that's not a smart business move, right? It's just a move that's authentic for me. I do have a YouTube membership. It's only $2.99 a month, and it comes with like bonus live streams that are kind of just like fun, unhinged nights that we get to have together. Sometimes bonus vlogs or stories or whatever. I just am not good at charging people for exclusive content. She blocked me because she said Jeff Lewis called her out. Yeah, a lot of people have said that they've been blocked. So I don't love the blocking part either. Love you, Zach. Just notified of this live from Donna's Facebook page. Yay. Love Donna. Wait, you and Behind the Velvet Rope host had beef with Adam. I don't know about Behind the Velvet Rope host having beef with Adam. That's, I believe, David Yontif that you're referring to. I didn't know that David had beef with Adam. And my issues with Adam are different. What is the live stream now podcast? I missed it. I did a live stream on YouTube with Jacques last night. It won't be aired on the podcast. So this is some your podcast last night should become a defense lawyer. You're so funny. Thank you, Aaron. Denny says creators and subs both sometimes stir up salacious drama. Listen, we're in this world. So over 900 in the room. Yes, thank you, BTF. If you guys are watching this, hit the like button below. If you're enjoying this, please subscribe. I would appreciate that. Jacques had his bias, but at the end of the day, he showed us another point of view, and that's ultimately why I wanted to have Jacques on the podcast. Is he was able to help us look through this through Heather's lens, which I think is a necessary perspective. I think too many people are coming to Justin's defense because he's the one that did a whole podcast on it. And that's not to negate or take away from what Justin has said or his experience. But I think it's good to hear multiple perspectives and multiple sides. And people are like, why didn't you have a Justin stan come on the podcast? I'm like, because everybody's talking about it and supporting Justin. We're not hearing about anybody that's willing to articulate a, sound argument about Heather. I still believe the reason Zach's audience and my dosers are kind of respectful is because we set the tone. I agree. I don't tolerate bullshit. And if somebody wants to come in the live stream and cause some negative bullshit, then I'll kick their ass out in 2 seconds. Love it. Don't pick a side. The truth will come out. Listen, it's gonna take time. The truth will always come out in the end. You don't need to take a side in the moment. Just trust that people's characters and people's, hearts will always show themselves eventually. She has a lot of people who know her and don't like her. There is a reason. I mean, the situation is giving me YouTube beauty community when so much trash went down with James Charles and Tati and Jeffree Star. Ooh, remembered that drama. That drama was juicy, baby. Love you, Zach. Don't pick a side. The truth will come out. Listen, sometimes I pick sides. Sometimes I don't. In this case, I don't have any skin in the game, so I have no reason to pick a side. I think this is a messy situation, but I think that there's a little bit of truth on both sides. The only person I believe is my 10-year-old. My kid gives 0 fucks. How many fucks do I give? 0, 0, none, not 1, 0, 0. Should I check my text messages now? Because a lot of them were blowing up about this Jeff situation. Oh, interesting. I can't. I was almost going to read this on camera, but I'm not going to. But I mean, there are some very valid points. I can't tell you who the people I'm talking to are, but they're people very much involved in these situations from both sides. Well, actually, I don't think I've heard anybody that has reached out to me that has been, other than Jacques, that has been on Heather's side of things. A lot of these people who are very much inside all of this world, inside of this space, many of them seem to not be Team Heather in all of this. But again, I'm choosing to remain objective because I have no skin in this game. So yeah. Caroline, I think all of the Jeff Lewis live chats were making it sound like Zach and some guy on his podcast were saying. So Justin's perspective might have been that you were saying what Jacques was saying. Great. Don't listen to all the fucking trolls on the internet and maybe listen to the actual live stream. Don't shade me and be a dick to me when I've actually been pretty supportive of you, considering I didn't know who you were. Yes, that's a little shade, but I'm a little salty now because I'm like, dude, I literally had no issue to give to you, and you're going to let people on the internet sway your opinion. That doesn't provide a very, solid case for you. What happened with Adam? I'm not getting into that again, guys. I'm tired of that. When someone likes comments where people are accusing you of criminal offense, that was a stigma for the gay community in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. You'd be pissed too. I agree. But Heather does address that. And she's like, listen, my understanding is that they were trolls that were coming after Justin. I did not realize that they were death threats. She made that very clear. She's like, my level of understanding is he did not express to me that he was receiving death threats. I don't know if that's true or not true or what, but Zach, all YouTubers are messy. Yes, we are. Here's the thing. We're all messy. Some of us just show you our mess on camera. The others are a little messy off camera and then put on this cutesy little I'm a good person persona on the cameras. But behind the scenes is a different story. Remember, I always show you who I am. Good, bad, and the ugly. I take the heat, I take the good, all of it. So you can pitch a show to NBC, the real YouTubers of Bravo. Listen, stay tuned. That's all I will say. A lot of people have made that comment that BTF has made. Be patient and stay tuned. That's all I'm going to say. Zach, I've noticed that you gossip on report on facts. And still say that y'all keep listening to these creators and that you still support these creators. I do. I support any creator that's willing to put themselves out there. Adam still hasn't said a thing about the fight. He's not going to. Here's the thing. He's not going to say anything about it. He won't say anything about it because the only thing he can say is the truth, and the truth I don't think aligns with one, he tries to not be messy and get into the drama, and two, I've told a very accurate and true story, and I think anybody else there were people that witnessed it. I think they can back up my account of what happened, and I know that because I spoke with one of them, and I was like, "Can you please" someone that wasn't drinking that night, but that witnessed what went down, and I was like, "Was I wrong? Did I do anything to provoke this or escalate the situation?" The only thing they said to me was, "Listen, you were talking to Jason a little too long, that I think you guys should have just kept it cute and sweet and short and just moved on. You guys talked a little longer than you probably should have. And I think had you not spoken as long, Adam would never have had an opportunity to insert and it blow up the way that it did." Um, but, it is what it is. I don't think he is going to speak about this. I think he wants it to die down. He doesn't want to be a part of the drama. He doesn't want to be in the drama. And that's fair. I am very different. Not that I want to be a part of the drama, but I'm very much, I always put my shit out there and I'm always honest about everything. Will the bourbon room let you come back? I hope Adam drama won't. No, I spoke to the bourbon room that night. I went up to them, to the staff that I know there, and I was like, "Listen, I'm so sorry that all of that whatever drama went down. That's not me. I love you guys. I, appreciate you guys." I got a text message from, one of the main people at the bourbon room, and they said whenever I want to come back and do a show, they're ready to do another show with me. And anytime I want to attend a show at the Bourbon Room, they said, let them know. And I am a VIP there always. So again, I like to maintain good relationships with people. I always try to maintain that. So yeah. Why hasn't Jeff confirmed or denied that he spoke to Justin Martindale in person? I think the Bourbon Room, I'm assuming at the Comedy Store. I don't think they've been at the Bourbon Room together. I believe, didn't he say that they have spoken? Adam comes off very serious and competitive. I don't think he comes off that way on camera, but I have a very different experience. Why don't you back the guy who dragged through the mud for no reason by a friend? Who was dragged through the mud by no reason by a friend? But can you get in trouble for talking about what is behind Heather's paywall? I think that was the last comment. Oh, I don't know. Can I? I honestly, I don't know. I listen. I paid my money. I listened, and I'm talking about it. I don't know if I'm not allowed to talk about it. I didn't read any stipulations or rules and regulations. I didn't. I don't know if you're not allowed to talk about it. But also, if she wants her side of the story out there, then I don't understand why she wouldn't want that out there. Just show loyalty to Zach. I listened to Adam's show, and he's a real piece of work, in my opinion. Listen, okay, sorry, I didn't read that comment ahead of time. Listen, if you support me and you love me, I appreciate that, and you can love and support and show love to anybody else. Yeah, I feel like Adam tried to ruin the relationship with the Bourbon Room. It was weird. The whole situation was weird. People that night that were there told me that the situation was weird, so it's weird. This guy's like, okay, can you please stop talking about Adam and give me attention and give me kisses and love? Yes. Okay, say hi, Sky. Say hi, buddy. Hi, my love. Sorry, I have 2 6-month-old puppies, and they've been needing a little extra love today. What about your OnlyFans, Zach? I don't have an OnlyFans. Should I start one? My baby, my baby. They're only 6 months. We're learning. We're training. I know I'm not supposed to be enabling this behavior, but I've been traveling a lot, and I miss my babies. So I will get back on that. Heather liked my comments all the time, liked every comment on her IG. Oh, okay. 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 Imagine the fact that she handled it like this and her son is the one manning her YouTube. Oh, is that true? Is her son the one that's manning her YouTube? I do think that Heather and Justin's friendship is over. I think so too. I think so too. Yay to no subscription fee. Thank you. YouTube was awesome until there were 400 other streamers. Same with Patreon. Yeah. Isn't It isn't a he said, she said moment like Donna said. Jeff commented on what others told him, but not what he actually heard. Rookie mistake. What a jerk. I've heard Heather say nice things about you this week. I truly think she likes both you and Adam. I hope so. Again, I've been nothing but supportive of Heather. I like Heather. I love the community that she's built. She was one of the pioneers in the podcast game. I've always been very, I've always been very clear of my position of that. I'm new to this live chat. I totally enjoy your broadcast. I just started watching your YouTube. I'm sad you're going through this. You're still fine. Take care. I bet I'm the eldest in your chat. One, thank you. Also, I want to say, I didn't share any of the stuff that happened in the bourbon room to victimize myself. A lot of people have been like, "Oh, that's bullying," or "That's this or that." I don't see it that way. I just see it as an unfortunate situation that went down that didn't need to go down. But I appreciate that. Bottom line, you allowed space for an alternate viewpoint last night and supported your friend peer guest as we wanted Heather to do for Justin. Yeah, that's a very fair point. You guys are just all using this to make money, but for Justin to be called a pedo or a groomer, an anti-gay stigma, hello gay community, or are all these people too young to know that? My love, you're gonna lecture me about the gay community? You don't think I've sucked a few dicks in my lifetime? Come on. And about us all making money. Everybody's making money. I'm making money. Justin's making money. Heather's making money. Jeff Lewis is making money. Everybody is literally making money off of this. But guess what? This is our job. We make money off of these things. We make money off of our commentary. We make money off of scandal, whether we're involved in the scandals or other people are involved in the scandals. That's the reality. Hello, let's pull back the curtain and come meet Oz. That's the truth. That's the nature of the game. We all are in it and we all make money off of it. And that is what we do. That is our jobs. That is what pays our bills. That's like going to work tomorrow at 8 a.m. Or actually, tomorrow's Sunday, but that's like going back to work on Tuesday and clocking in at 9 a.m. And then your boss gives you an assignment and you're like, oh, I don't want to do this because I have to make money off of it. It's like, that's your job. My job is to comment and talk about all of this stuff. Okay, did you talk about the Vanderpump Rules fight already? I did not. So I've been trying to dig it. So I was invited. I was at, let me give you the full story. I was at Sheena's show at the Bourbon Room. I was sat with the cast of Vanderpump Rules. James was there, Allie was there, Katie was there, Ariana was there, Kyle was there. Kyle's the jeweler that's been hanging out a lot with Tom Sandoval. He was there to support Sheena. So I was sitting with all of them. I sat next to Kyle because we were two of the first people to get there. We were chatting. And he was like, "Oh my God, I know you from YouTube or Instagram or whatever." And I was like, "Oh my God, I know you because I've seen you on Instagram as well." Blah, blah, blah. We got to know each other. We got to connect. He's like, "Hey, I'm having a whiskey launch." Hold on, let me actually find and shout out his whiskey because he invited me to the launch of his whiskey, which was the Vanderpump Rules finale party. And he said, "Hey, by the way, I'm having a whiskey launch party on Friday. It's going to be filmed as the finale of Vanderpump Rules. I would love for you to come. I know it's very short notice. It is up in San Francisco. If you can make it, I would love to have you there." Hey, calm down, boys. Come here. So he invited me. He sent me the invite. I was like, yes, I would love to be there. I said, yes, I would attend. And then at the end, I just wasn't able to make it out to San Francisco at the last minute. So I wasn't able to be there, but I did see the fight. I did see that something involved like Tom Sandoval and Billy Lee. I've texted some of the people that I know to try to get more details on that. I don't have all the details yet, but hopefully I will have some soon. Sky, you are literally about to fuck up my entire podcast system. So let's please step aside, my love. Okay, buddy, come on. Go. So yeah, I'm gonna have to wrap this soon because the puppies are getting a little rambunctious. But let's give some top tier shout outs. JP says, "Hi, new watcher and listener. Found you through your appearance on Donna. I love Donna. Daily Dose of Donna. Daily Dose of Donna. Go support Daily Dose of Donna. Thank you, JP. Christine says, Kristen, Heather liked Patreon comments claiming Justin is an addict and an alcoholic and is responsible for his former boyfriend's suicide. Screenshots are already on Reddit. Yikes. That's not good. I don't like that. I don't like that. Super sticker from Bella. Thank you, Bella. I appreciate that, my love. Oh, God, we have so many live chat. Guys, if you're watching this, please hit the like button. I appreciate all the love. I appreciate, oh my God, so many chat. Okay, I'm trying. Billy Lee tried to make it about her when the drunk guy threw the drink at security. Billy is a loser. I don't think Billy is a loser, but I was trying to figure out, like, how is Billy involved in all of this? I can't get Sheena's Apples. Oh my God, Apples is so good. It's my favorite song. It's on Spotify. I'm hoping that they put it on Apple Music soon because I cannot wait to play it on repeat. Hey, PPLES, how you like them? I saw you on the internet. You a hot mess. Hey, PPLES. PPLES. Hey, PPLES. Love it. Sheena killed it with that song. Painting the outside of my house, living vicariously through Zack. Love it, Coffee Buzz. I feel like Vanderpump Rules is going to confuse sloppiness with drama, and now they've got a bunch of clout chasers here for that. Let's hope that it doesn't become that because I love Vanderpump Rules. I've loved it from the beginning. Justin deserves an apology. Love Heather as well. Way, way, way big, but he deserves that. I agree. I think they both deserve apologies. I think, listen, what I would have loved from Heather in this situation is for her to come out and be like, listen, I did not see it this way. I wish Justin had expressed things to me in a way that maybe would have helped me understand the scope of things. But regardless, as my friend, I feel like I, maybe didn't show up in the way that he needed me to, and I apologize for that. If she would have just taken some accountability and some ownership and just been like, listen, I don't think I handled everything perfectly. I didn't see it that way going through it, but now I'm looking at things differently with a different lens. And if she would have just had some accountability in that, I think that there would have been an opportunity for her to, kind of bounce back from this a little quicker and also like make sure that there's no collateral damage in the process. Whereas right now, I think everything is just a big hot mess. Truly a big hot mess. So, any update on the Brian guy who called and asked you out? No, Brian never reached out to me. He asked me out and I was like, all right, Brian, slide into my DMs. And then Brian's like, peace. Every guy, men in general. Oops. The boys are trying to play, but because we have hardwood floors, they're sliding all over the place. I support you 100%, Zach. Some people are so dumb and get caught up in the stupidest drama and gossip and then send hate over it. People need to get a life. I agree. People need to get a life. All right, guys. That said, thank you. I appreciate you. I will have a new podcast episode. I'm going to be on Femtaro's YouTube channel, which I know the fact that I collaborate with Femtaro now upsets some people. I know that because some people told me that. Some people may or may not have told me that on Sunday night, that they were upset that I collaborate with Femtaro, and they don't. But there's a reason that they don't. I invite everybody. I don't tune out anybody. Oh, Zach, who needs someone to explain to them that being called a pedophile and refusing to call it out is not cool? Come on. No, I agree. Listen, and I said that last night. I was very clear about that last night. I think Heather could have handled that situation way better, and I wish she would have. Oh, I promise I'll hit you up for a doggy walking coffee. Oh, there's Brian. There we go. Hi, Brian. So freaking cute. Enjoy your pups. Listen, I'm trying. They're 6 months old. We're doing a lot. We're trying a lot. We're living life. When with Femtaro? Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Femtaro and I will go live. We'll discuss this topic as well as other topics. And then on Monday's episode of the podcast, I will be live streaming that on YouTube as well at 8:30 Pacific. 8, 9, 10, 11:30 Eastern with Jess Rothschild. She's the host of Hot Takes and Deep Dives, another good friend of mine. We're going to talk about the Summer House drama, Winter House, Real Houses of New York, all of that stuff. So get ready. I have 2 6-month-old puppies that now need me to tend to them, drink some more, and come back on later. If I do drink some more and I come back on later, I'll probably go on my personal Instagram. So if you want to keep up with me, you can follow me at Just Plain Zack all over the internet. That's at Just Plain Zack. Go and give me a follow there. And we just pulled out my charger. Lovely. Thank you, boys. I'll probably have a little more wine and go live on Instagram later. So stay tuned for that. The boys sound like they have to go potty because they're waiting by the door. But I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you. I love you. Send a little love to people. Shout out to Short Stack, a member for 10 months. Woo, woo. All right. Bye, guys. I love you. Ciao for now. Talk soon.